Call to order and roll call vote.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, roll call.
Roll call.
Sorry.
No, not vote, just roll call. Yeah, we got the,
It's
this
not a
thing
vote.
together quick. Beth Scheid?
Here?
Okay. Jane Williams?
Yes.
Chris Shearer?
Yes.
Anna Merritt?
Here?
Bill Brown?
Here.
Jeff Bing?
Yes, here.
And Tahoe?
Yes.
Wonderful. Do we have any public comment? Seeing no public, unless the cameraman wants to talk. We'll move on. You have in your packet that was prepared for this, the prevailing wage. This is so that we keep in line with paying for services. And I think you've all had an opportunity to read it. Is there a motion for the approval of this?
Move approval of the resolution concerning family wages.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there
I
any
have
discussion?
one-
Yeah,
I have
please.
just a question. How often and under what circumstance, what kinds of situations do we use contractors, and would this come into play? Just an example. Really just curious.
Public works kinds of things. So for example, when the library had the roof on the Weber building done,
Oh, yes.
that
of
would be that,
course.
but electricians, things like that. So
Okay, sure.
non-staff contractors doing public works. And in the law, it talks about this very specifics.
Yeah, right.
Is our
right, but those
janitorial
are-
in that?
It depends, and that's something we're looking at.
Is this plumber listed, roofer?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
was, I wanted to go down and
Yeah, I
see all
should
the
have
wages.
thought about the
are.
roofing, that makes sense. Okay, all right, that's really,
All those in favor of the prevailing wage resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The memorandum of understanding between the Champaign County Circuit Clerk and the Urbana Free Library Historical Archives. This is for discussion. Do we have any questions or concerns? This is something that,
straightforward.
yeah, it's
It is.
something that's just been neglected to get in writing.
Right.
And so we're putting it in writing.
is there something we should discuss?
Just wanted to make sure that you had any questions. This was a very this is a temporary memorandum of understanding. They wanted to be able, their fiscal year runs separate from ours, and they wanted to be able to pay us within the first half of their fiscal year and the second half of their fiscal year. So we pulled this together with, Jim Simon approved it, and then we will do something more detailed. Anka's going to work with them about particulars that will lay out the responsibilities of both parties.
Would this
But
always,
I just wanted to make clear the one you just mentioned.
Yeah, this
We
is-
just haven't put it in writing. This is completely new.
This is new.
Because this is not what the county, this is what the circuit clerk. This is new money that the
oh, this
circuit
is
clerk.
new money.
But you've been doing the
no, no.
archiving.
Right,
You have
but
not
the
even
circuit
been
clerk
doing...
has never paid money out of her budget.
And we've always
But
kept
you've
the
done the
records, though.
archiving,
Yes.
but you just haven't been paid.
Right, and so the county money that we receive every year, that now will be slightly reduced, this coming year, is for public service hours, very specifically. It's for service, not for storage at all. So this money that Katie has very generously earmarked is specifically out of her storage budget, which she has a line in her budget. So we're really excited.
This is very good news.
And do we, somebody write a letter to the county clerk for this? Because this is a very honorable kind of thing. I mean, we've been wanting it, but it,
The circuit.
The circuit clerk.
The circuit
circuit
clerk.
clerk, yeah,
Not the county.
yeah, circuit clerk.
We have just received the once-a-year letter from Deb Busey saying, let's look to next year's allotment and include your request from the circuit clerk in that. So we'll have that discussion at the same time, and we will thank them at the same time.
And on the basis of that, you think that we will be reduced by the county?
The
Board.
county's portion of the 24,500 will be reduced. I've actually got something for that
By
in the
the
next
same
board
amount.
packet.
No.
No, it's different money.
There's different money, two
lines.
different pools of money. So the $13,000 from the circuit clerk, we don't know what will happen next year. We haven't had that conversation. It's a separate funding pool. So we will move ahead and let you know what we find out.
But you
But this,
hope or anticipate, or how strong a word can you use?
I don't know yet. In the letter that came from Deb Busey,
Yeah.
she did not indicate that the money from the circuit clerk would be reduced. But again, that would come from Katie, the circuit clerk.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know as we hear more about the budgeting process.
So this is a one-time thing, and let's move on.
It is anticipated that this would be an ongoing income stream. the $13,000 for storage of their materials.
And how much was the county budgeted this for their fiscal year this year?
24,500.
And that was up a little bit from last
Yes.
year?
That's been flat for a number of
Okay.
years, and it will go down 4%, which will still put it in the 23,000 something range.
But isn't Bill right that it went up last year? I think we
No,
got
it's
it.
been flat.
Okay.
I thought they,
It went up
Agreed to
maybe a few
increase it.
years ago or something.
That
Maybe
was
it's a
about
couple
5
years
years
ago.
ago. About
Five.
5
oh,
years
that long
It
ago?
went up
It did go up, though, because we were
By a few
baking.
$1,000s.
Yeah, okay.
So the 13,000, we can anticipate continuing, but we're not counting on it.
We are anticipating it
Yeah.
continuing, but as we work through the budget process,
Yeah.
we'll let you know if there's a change to that.
Right, okay.
But we don't need,
I have a quick question. It's when was it the last time that we had a fundraiser for the library?
I'm going to defer, but I would say probably
the
back.
foundation?
The foundation would have done fundraising back for the building expansion is the last time I'm aware of. It was a large fundraising campaign. The foundation does their annual campaign in the fall every year.
Yeah.
But as far as a large library-wide,
Yes.
big fundraiser, I would say it's probably back in '03, '04 for the '05 expansion.
Can we think about doing something just to bring back, you know, the spirit and building on extra funding, just in case, you know, because I see that, yeah, we'll be having cuts here, cuts there, and then Celeste is doing a marvelous job as trying to find money. But I think, is it time now to do so, or not
we
yet?
we can take something like that to the foundation, but they
Okay.
still act independent of us.
Okay.
And I will say that at their meeting yesterday, they did vote to allocate $2,500 to support the UFL Live concerts, which
Concert
are
program.
September through May on
Okay.
some Sunday of the month. They're very popular. They had done that for years. They pulled back after they purchased the Weber property. Now that they have more in their fund balance, they have decided to fund that again. So they are doing that as well. But we can certainly take that to them.
Yeah.
But the library itself doesn't do fundraising, it's through the foundation. Is that
Right.
correct?
Well,
As
we
far
have
as I know.
various sources that
Yeah, right.
bring in money, but it's not,
But it's usually through the
the foundation does this fundraising.
So regarding this, are there other organizations that we do archiving for that don't pay us, or that should?
None of the organizations.
No, but I mean, you're getting money from the circuit clerk.
Right.
Are there other organizations that you would think ought to?
No, I mean, we don't, it is not in our mission to receive funds from institutions that, whose records we hold. So, we hold records of many organizations, nonprofits.
But these
Primarily.
probably have in their bylaws or something that we're the archivist for those organizations.
Right. It's a very, and some donors give money. So when Jean Burkholder's sons or family donated her papers, they give us money, not for storage, but for processing the materials. But, the assumption is that the budget that, we have, the mission of the archives is to document the county, and we receive, recurring funds from the city of Urbana, which is incredibly generous and very unusual in that, the city of Urbana carries a very significant load of that responsibility that documents a county. But, really, Urbana is a part of that, but it's not, we aren't just the city of Urbana archives, we're the county archives. So we do occasionally receive funds from donors and organizations. It's a touchy topic because donors might go shop around and donate their materials elsewhere if you
I
start
could see
asking for
donors.
money.
I was just interested in government offices that may be trying to do this themselves, and they would pay you to do it for them. That
Well,
they're,
The government offices, the only offices that we would document here is
Are
the
the
county,
county.
the city of Champaign, and the city of Urbana, and we are I did start a conversation about 4 months ago with the city clerk of Champaign, after they contacted me, after I've been in touch with them off and on about acquiring some of their oldest city records, including ones of West Urbana. So they're starting to make plans to microfilm, and I had advised them on that process. In that process, also said, we'd be interested in, preserving these records on behalf of the city. And so one of the first questions they asked then, well, what would you charge? And I said, okay, great, I'll get back to you on that. But so I guess, we would come up with a formula for them. I mean, the material that they'd be donating isn't very voluminous, not like the counties. The counties is half of our holdings.
Oh, my.
We have over 3,000 linear feet of records. 1,500 linear feet of those records are the circuit clerks.
So are these all paper records then that
Yes.
we're doing for the circuit clerk? And by taking money to archive them, do we have a higher level of responsibility to make sure nothing happens to them?
They have all been microfilmed,
Okay.
and the preservation master sits at the Illinois State Archives. But the circuit clerk, Linda Frank, had to get permission from the Illinois courts, because that is who has ultimate responsibility for those records. She had to get permission from the courts that we would hold the hard copies. That we're not required, the county is not required to retain those records. They can be destroyed
Okay.
once they're microfilmed. There are very, very few records that are produced by municipalities and counties and even states that need to be retained once microfilmed. It's a very small percentage. So, it's really the historical community and genealogical community of Champaign County that fought really hard to, or lobbied very strongly to Linda Frank to make us the repository. So, and Fred worked very hard to set.
I like your appeal to Champaign for the records of West Urbana.
Yeah, it's
That's what it
essentially
was
just
called.
Yeah. It's basically just a couple ledgers, but it's the original minutes of. So so I had a tour, and we had a discussion also with their manager, financial manager, to talk about that. So that hopefully will happen sometime this year.
Yes, it did. Yes, it does. Okay, moving on to the next item. We don't need any action, right?
Nope, it's
Discussion.
informational, since we were meeting.
The next item is a revision of the FY16 budget. I guess it doesn't matter which order we take them in, because one does not reflect the other. So do I have a motion to approve that revision as it handed to you? And then we can discuss it.
So moved.
Second?
A second.
Are there questions?
Clear.
You saw it all?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of amending the FY16 budget, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Do I have a motion for approving of a revision of the FY15 budget?
I approve it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? Again, you have copies before you to know what the changes are. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, yes, I have one. The moving from, you stated that, some regular staff member resigned.
Yes,
No,
yes,
okay,
yes, we had a retirement and
Yes,
someone moved
retirement,
away.
yes. And then you replace it, with some part-time, hourly staff members.
If we're thinking of the same thing, we had
Yes.
one part-time person
Yeah.
and one hourly person resign.
yeah.
And what we're going to do is hire one part-time person and 2 hourly people.
Okay, so what has been the overall, what's called atmosphere? Ever since we had the last meeting, when people were talking about.
This is not related to those particular people, but
I
I will
see.
say that some people who are part-time employees,
Yes.
whose hours were higher but have been pulled back
Yes.
closer to 20 or maybe 24, And we have hired a couple of part-time people to replace a person in circulation who left. They are not necessarily, they're not happy that their hours have been pulled back and that we hired two part-time people to replace a benefited part-time person.
So it's a matter of time and adjustment for everybody, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Other people on staff have supported the decision that the board has made to move in this
Yes,
direction,
yes.
to be able to control our costs.
Yes.
It is a very difficult decision to make a shift like this. It's very difficult.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All those in favor of budget revisions for FY15, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved. Okay, Carol Inskeep has been serving as the representative on the Cable Commission for several years. And unbeknownst to us at the time that we were to have made that appointment. So at this time, I'd like...
Nomination.
Nomination, because the appointment is still made by the...
I move that we nominate Carol Hinsky to continue in this position, and that nomination be forwarded to the mayor for approval.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second that one.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Becky, are you taking notes?
I am.
I didn't turn it on.
Well, Jason's got his covered.
Jason's
before.
got some of it.
I'm sorry.
I wondered about that.
You should have hollered. Okay, approval of the service program members agreement, which I think you have. Where is it? Is there a motion, let's see, is that an action? Is there a motion to approve the agreement?
Move to approve the OCLC services program agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there questions?
Can you remind me what that was? I thought I read
Okay.
through the packet. I don't remember that.
Cataloging our records and well, it's major cataloging, isn't it?
We get a discount through the state library and through the IHLS consortium to get access to the OCLC database, which has
Oh, right.
library
Okay.
records for the whole country. And so going through the state, you get a better rate. But the price is still over $10,000.
And that's why
So it would
we're
be
bringing it
over,
to
it'd be
you.
more over 10,000 if we did it separately, but one way or the other, it needs your approval.
It needs a board approval because it's over 10, though. That's
Okay.
basically
That's
the
right.
purpose.
I remember.
Otherwise, it's in the budget, so it's not a concern, but it's
It's
just
not
over 10.
new.
No. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. You have with you a list of the dates that we'll be meeting. This is something that needs to be posted each year before we start the year. And they are all the second Tuesdays, I assume. Unless, and we can change these, and of course, we can have additional meetings, but this is posted on the website. Is there a motion to approve this schedule?
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
All those, well, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Is there a motion for adjournment?
There being no further business.
Being no further business on the, and we cannot have any other business, is there a motion for
We
adjournment?
don't need any.
I have a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Oh, I don't need an motion.
There being no further
Okay.
business, I declare the meeting
Okay, okay.
You'll
I
get it.
Yes, you're right. You're right.